On December 10th, the world will come together to celebrate video games at the Game Awards, streaming live everywhere. For Best Performance, the nominees are Ashley Johnson as Ellie, The Last of Us Part 2, Laura Bailey as
Abby Zilla.
The Last of Us Part 2,
Zelda is a national treasure. Abby Zilla is a national cancer AIDS of the century. The stupid pea-brained Abby can't stand up to Zelda and her Triforce of wisdom. You know what real art is? Is Zelda curb stomping Abby Zilla's human growth hormone testosterone-filled head. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I need all of you to mark your calendars. It's a gargantuan occasion in our history. The date is September 26th, 2020. The National Abby Zilla Getting Piped from Behind Day. Yes, it's the day we all bleached our eyes in unison after watching Neil Cuckman's weird sexual fantasy play out, but the part where I physically recoiled in horror is when Abby Zilla was done getting clapped. She then deeply professed, "It's my turn." Cut to black. Now let's get back to our good old friend Neil Drunkman and his fantasy of two gym bros going at it. A little known fact about the skip cinematic of Us Part 2, if you're unaware: if you want the stunning and brave trophy, you can't skip the clapping scene. Anyway, look, so now you can cosplay as Abby Zilla. Yeah, I would rather stick a bamboo stick inside my then cosplay as that horse, but because I'm such a nice guy, I'll give you the exact steps to look like that freak. Get your notepad and pen out. Step number 1, go buy some pharmaceutical grade testosterone from your local dealer and then spend the rest of your entire day imitating good old Terminator from Pumping Iron. Step number 2, carry a golf club and make sure it's an iron-free. And lastly, find a white male, preferably a protagonist that everyone loves, and go to town, go to town. I can't be the only one thinking, who would actually genuinely want to cosplay as that abomination? Definitely someone who had a dumbbell dropped on their head. Free multiplayer and no microtransactions. Now that's a name I haven't heard of in a very long time. And remember, folks, there's 100% absolutely zero trace of golf clubs. And it's not a free DLC of a Mongol's daughter sodomizing Jin with a bamboo stick. Isn't it ironic how Sucker Punch can get their multiplayer mode out first before Naughty Doggy Style, and it's their first time making a multiplayer mode? But hold on, I almost forgot. I'm not being fair, because you can cosplay as Abby Zilla. That's one constellation. You can look like Chris Pratt in a dress, because a happy customer is a loyal customer, Mr. Cuckman. You treat your players like dirt and make them play as a bodybuilding transsexual, you'll end up in the bargain bin at Blockbuster. The only thing scarier than Nemesis or Mr. X is Abby Zilla, with blue hair and chasing you around with a rainbow vest on. She's angry, she's vindictive, and has more muscles than any man I know. It's Ma'am. We are going to get a storyline with Chris Redfield getting his head crushed by Resident Evil's newest villain, Senator Abby Strong. And the winner of the Best Going In Dry award goes to Neil Druckmann for his iconic love scene with Brockette Lesnar. Alright, okay, which one of you muscle-bound, roid-raging she-hulks was threatening the video game judges with a golf club? Now that I think about it, there is a Best Sports and Racing category, and the Scissorfest Part 2 does have a pretty nifty golfing mechanic, if I do say so myself. What in the blue Abby Zilla is a joystick award? I don't know, but after all, this is the game where Senator Abby Strong gets rammed from behind with no courtesy spit. And yes, I apologize for bringing that memory up once again. I'd imagine Mr. Yuckman's next rendition of The Last of Us has Abby Zilla Zilla and Ellie getting married, and in the honeymoon, Senator Abby Strong digs up Joel's corpse and then feeds his bones to a new dog. And then when The Last of Us 3 ends, the dog is taking a big smelly turd all over the front porch, and that dog is called Naughty. Anyway, as of me recording this, Neil Druckmann's begging for votes has failed pretty badly because the ghost shall claim glory over the she-beast Abby Zilla. Now, words of advice. Do not bring a golf club to a katana duel. I don't care. If you have Abby Zilla, aka Hulkamania, running wild, brother.
And now, the Game of the Year award goes to The Last of Us Part 2.
Congratulations first and foremost to the Hulk Hogan impersonator Abby Zilla, Senator Abby Strong, for winning the best male protagonist of 2020. I've always wanted to say that. Now, I know that award meant so much to Abby Zilla. What phenomenal driving form. The way he swung that iron golf club was Happy Gilmore worthy. I was stunned by such stunningly brave bravery. Bravo to Abby Zilla for winning the Men's Magazine Man of the Year. Oh, good old fucking Twitter, where the land whales with green-colored armpits fester. They honestly think that every woman is supposed to look like Abby Zilla from the Dry Hump Skip Cinematic of Us Part 2. What did the Japanese call Abby Zilla? Oh, that's right. They called her the Gorilla Woman. Laura Bailey, the voice actress behind Senator Abby Zilla Strong, feels conflicted about the best performance at the Video Game Awards when the Abby Zilla voice actress admits that The Last of Us 2 is terrible. That's how you know we've hit the bottom of the barrel. She even said it's only good for a laugh. I mean, that must hurt, Neil. If we're gonna blame someone, frankly, it's gonna be Neil Suxman's writing, which was horrible. I mean, the fact that they hid Abby Zilla from all the trailers prior to the game's release proves to you that they never had any faith in the character to begin with. They knew that everyone would despise that bodybuilder. Now, imagine that The Rock is taking it from behind by Neil Druckmann. Now, the casting choice for Joel is, well, how do I put this? Complete garbage. The smartest thing they could do is hire Gina Carano to play Abby Zilla, so she can take the golf club to Pedro's Square Dome. Remember a few days ago, Blizzard censored a woman in Diablo 2 because, wait for it, she looked like a woman. And then they proceeded to turn her into Abby Zilla from The Last of Us 2. Every time I try and avoid talking about this absolute disease abomination, Abby Zilla's chesticles pull me back in. It's official. Naughty Dog has been spayed and neutered because finally we're gonna get the alpha male protagonist we've all been asking for. Because in the blue corner with a record of 700 wins and 0 losses, all by going in dry and grossing all of our opponents out, weighing 300 pounds of solid testosterone, Senator Abby Strong, who is accompanied in the ring by her cuck Neil Druckmann. Now, Abby Zilla's transformation to She-Hulk will finally be complete when she dual wields 2 golf clubs and fights back against the patriarchy in the next Last of Us, which will be called Last of Us 3 Greta Thunberg Saves the World, where Abby Zilla is gonna bear striking resemblance to Elliot Page. The Last of Us 3 will be the Rose Tico of video games, sitting on shelves, stinking up the place with its unbought carcass. Yeah, that's very similar to the second Last of Us, isn't it? Because that game didn't sell millions of copies. No, it didn't. It shipped millions of copies. Big difference. Most of those copies were returned when Abby Zilla was getting clapped. Now, The Last of Us 3 isn't tricking anyone because a large chunk of gamers do not want to see Abby Zilla search for more anabolic juice, because you just know that the main storyline will be 60 hours of a bodybuilding routine. You only have 7 days to complete the game. Day 1 is triceps and chest. Day 2 is biceps and back. And day 3 will be tucking your balls away. The whole point of Cruella is that she is a despicable, terrifying villain, not an anti-hero or a misunderstood victim. Not anything except a villain. It's like making a sequel to The Last of Us where a character whips out a golf club and caves in the most beloved character in the series, and then the game demands the player to sympathize with that character. Oh, wait a second, that actually happened. Thanks a lot, Neil Cuckman. Now, I want to take you back to June 2020, before the dark times, before the rise of the pea-brained Abbyzilla. Someone, a good Samaritan, ended up leaking the Scissorfest Part 2 and showed the world that for $60, you too can play a full round of golf. Here's the plot for Part 3. Abbyzilla forms her own cartel in the zombie apocalypse, and her nickname amongst the other gym goers is El Proteina. Now, I thought it was funny how her dad went from a black Steve Buscemi in the first game to Jack Black in the sequel. That is quite a leap. Anyway, the backfire Naughty Dog received was glorious, but for me personally, my channel gained 60,000 subs in 8 months. So I want to thank the female Geodude Abbyzilla, aka John Cena, aka Brockette Lesnar. We have another Last of Us 2 Abbyzilla on our hands. Because who are you? Tila. Tila who? Tila Man. But you can also call me Tila Zilla. Tila Zilla will turn into Abbyzilla. Mark my words, when she gets the sword, Neil Druckmann will insert himself into the show somehow and clap her cheeks. Now introducing, weighing 350 pounds, competing in the women's weightlifting division, Tila Zilla. With more muscle than Abbyzilla. If Abbyzilla from The Last of Us 2 is anything to go by, then we'll have a 300-pound bearded woman in an action movie very soon, coming to a movie theater near you very soon. In the West, they make everyone as deformed as possible. And yet we're supposed to believe that anime is the one that's unrealistic. Now, Bumping and Grinding featuring Neil Druckmann and a female bodybuilder whose muscles would put the Incredible Hulk to shame is apparently more realistic. Are you kidding me? American art depicts women as foul beasts with grumpy expressions. The perfect example is Abbyzilla getting clapped at the back of a van. So stunning, so brave, and so American. Why do people prefer anime girls over some dude clapping those Aunt Jemima pancakes of Abbyzilla in The Last of Us 2? A moment that will forever haunt the gaming industry forever. Gee, I don't know. Anyway, what I got from this is that flirting is only bad because Ingrid is beautiful, but if she looked like fucking Abbyzilla, they would call for even more flirting. But not only that, they'll put some more Neil Druckmann going in dry with his favorite gym bro, Abbyzilla. Evil Lynn, or Hevelyn, takes Abbyzilla from The Last of Us behind the barn and makes a proper woman out of her. Join us for season 3, where Tila Zilla gets the Abbyzilla treatment and gets the operation she so desperately wants and finally becomes the hero. No, we're not talking about Abbyzilla's muscular glutes getting piped in The Last of Neil Man's Reputation Part 2. I don't think my eyes could take that. I have to start by talking about my favorite in gaming, Abbyzilla. Because did you know in 2020 there was a bunch of beta males out there screaming there's nothing unnatural about Abbyzilla's physique. She looks like a beautiful woman. You just hate the concept of physically fit women. Fast forward to today and HBO casts a normal looking girl who looks nothing like Abbyzilla because they couldn't find an actress that looks like that diabolical animal. And to quote the great Sheev Palpatine, it's ironic. Because if Neil Druckmann was in charge of Halo, he would have killed Master Chief off and made that one female Marine in Halo 2 the protagonist. You know, this guy is such a talentless hack. Killing is bad in The Last of Us 2. Unless you're Abbyzilla, then that doesn't apply to you. What a genius. And on that bombshell, Mannix out.